So last time we were talking about Visual Studio Code and how to write a basic Python program. And our program didn't do a whole lot. It printed hello and it printed good morning. So we're communicating to the user. But right now, this communication only goes one direction. We need to have a way that we can get information back from the user. And in order to do that, we need another built-in function that comes with Python, and that's input. So just like any other function, I'm going to call the name of the function. I have parentheses, and I'm going to pass a prompt. I'm going to ask the user, what is your favorite number? And put a question mark on that. So here we were making statements, hello, good morning, and we're printing that out, telling it to the user. Now we're asking questions. We're getting an input. So we need to make sure that we save whatever the user tells us. And I'm asking for a number. So I'm going to create a variable to hold this. And I'll call it num. And really all we need in order to create a variable is a name. And it has to start with a letter, uppercase or lowercase, or an underscore. So in this case, it starts with a lowercase n, and it's called num. And I have an equal sign, and that says take whatever's on the right side and put it into my variable on the left. So I'm going to rerun this, and we'll see what happens. You can see it says hello, good morning, and what is your favorite number? And I can come down here, I can type 5, and that's it. So that's not really that helpful. I tell it a number, it stores it in this variable num, but I can't really see that it exists. I can't do anything with, or well, I'm not doing anything with it. So let's just go ahead and confirm it's there. So I want to print that number back out to the user, who right now is me, because I'm testing my software. So once again, I hit play. It says hello, good morning, and it says what is your favorite number? I say 5. So now it's printing out 5. So I'm now communicating from my program to the user, getting an input from that user, and communicating back. Now it's not doing anything except for just parroting whatever the user said. But let's add a little something else to this. So I'm going to change my variable name for an underscore and a 1. And then I'm going to copy and paste what I have. As software developers, copy and paste is our friend. So now I have a second variable called num2, and I'm going to ask what is another number. I have a squiggle down here. That's because num doesn't exist anymore. I have to change it, say num1, and then num2. So now it asks what is my favorite number. I say 5. And then it asks what is another number. So I'll say 6. And it prints out 5 and 6. Still not anything fancy, but it's moving in the right direction. So I'm going to add a little something here. So if I do print F, that allows me to format my output. And I'm using curly braces around my variables. And I'm actually going to add what I get. And for now, I'm just going to put 11 there. This works great if I pick 5 and 6 like I did before. If I were to pick 1 and 2, then it would add to 11, and that's not true. But this allows us to see what's going on, and then we're going to make some adjustments. So I'm going to run it again. I'm going to pick 5 and 6. That adds up to 11. But if I were to run something else, so I'll hit play again, and I'll say 2 and 3, obviously 2 plus 3 is not 11. So I need to do what I did here and add curly braces. I'm going to let Python do the math. Num underscore 1 plus num underscore 2. I'm going to rerun my code. So this print, it prints whatever's between the single quotes, and the things that are inside of my curly braces, it treats it like like Python code. So here, num1 is going to take whatever's in num1 and print it here. And then it'll give me an empty space and a plus sign and an empty space. And then it will print whatever num2 is. And it will print an empty space, equal sign, empty space. And then it's going to add num1 and num2 and print the result. So if I hit play, now we can pick 1 and 2, and I get 12. Well, last I checked, 1 plus 2 is supposed to be 3. But I have something special going on here. It's not treating 1 like a number and 2 like a number. It's actually treating them like strings, which is a type of data. So you see, it says variable num underscore 2 str. That is a string of characters. So it's treating it like a word. If I were to come in here and instead of putting numbers in here, I could put um, an A and a B. You can see it takes A and B and puts it together. So I have to tell it that I'm dealing with numbers. So now I'm going to come in here and adjust num1. I missed my underscore. I'm going to turn it into an integer or an int. We're going to do the same thing with num2. That I will also turn into an int. So now if I come down here, you can see it says variable num2 int. I'm going to come in here and now put 1 and 2. You can see 1 plus 2 is 3. So integers are numbers that do not have a decimal. If I wanted to use a different type of number, let's say I have something that has a decimal, then I would use a float. And I'll go ahead and change this to a float as well. So now I still pick 1, I pick 2. And you can see it's added a 0.0 and another 0.0. And when I take 1.0 and 2.0 and add them, I get 3.0. So the 0.0 doesn't change anything. It's still a whole number, but now it tells me that Python is being more precise. So these are floats. Floats have decimals. Ints are whole numbers. Strings are collections of characters. So I could even do this. I can turn this into an int, turn this into an int, and then take my result and turn it into a float. So you can see I have my int plus an int, and it gives me 3. And then I turn that into a float, so that turns it into 3.0. So these are floats, ints, and strings. These are our primitive data types. Next time, we'll talk about booleans, which are another data type that is going to be a little bit different. So I look forward to seeing you then.